Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar with KEDGE Business School. My name is Maria and I'll be the moderator today. Today's topic is higher education and career opportunities in France with KEDGE. I'm pleased to introduce our special hosts, Prayag Tripathi, Deepak Sharma and Elvira Ibrahimova. Prayag is International Manager and alumnus from KEDGE. Deepak is also KEDGE alumnus and flow manager at Schneider Electrics, and Elvira is International Business Development Manager at KEDGE. Before giving the word to them, I would like to invite you to use the Q&A box to ask your questions. Your questions are more than welcome, and we will take the time to answer each of them at the end of this webinar. So please type them in the Q&A box, and now I'm giving the word to you, Prayag.
Right. Thank you so much, Maria, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I'm going to share my screen. And Maria, as soon as you confirm, if you can see my screen, I'll go ahead with the presentation.
Yeah, we see your screen. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Thank you, Maria, for organizing this and a wonderful introduction for all of us. My name is Prayag. I'm based in India, alumni of KEDGE 2015 International Business. I manage Southeast Asia, based in New Delhi, helping Indian, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Nepalis, Sri Lankan students to study at KEDGE. I have my colleague Elvira today. Elvira manages a lot of countries in Asia Pacific, and she would be talking about visa, career opportunities, and entrepreneurship. And then, of course, we have Deepak would be talking about his experience at KEDGE. So moving ahead, as Maria said, the presentation says explore higher education and career opportunities in France with KEDGE Business School. Well, this is one very important, I would say, reason to study in France besides higher education, which is career opportunities. A lot of international students travel outside their comfort zones and their native countries to explore career opportunities abroad. And today in this 10 to 15 minutes of presentation, we'll cover all of that in details. But before that, we need to understand why France. Why France could be, probably your next aboard, why France could be a game changer, and why France probably could be the best country for you to study right now. So I'm on second slide. If you can't see it, just let me know. So why France? We'll give you 7 reasons. I mean, there could be countless reasons. If you ask Deepak or Elvira, there would be countless reasons. But for the safety of time, we would just stick with top 7 reasons why you should be studying in France. Number 1, it's in the heart of Europe and technically heart of the world. It is very well connected to all major hubs in the world, whether it's London or, in Switzerland, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Scandinavian Europe, everything is almost an hour to a couple of hours away. Number 2, study in English and learn another language. Well, a lot of international students are not aware that when you come to France, you don't really have to study in French. Of course, that's an option, but you also have close to 2,000 programs completely taught in English. And at KEDGE, we have around 20 programs completely taught in English. At the same time, you also have the opportunity to learn another language, which is French. And we teach French to all our international students absolutely free of cost for the entire duration of studies. Number 3, you will be receiving world-class education because France is amongst the top 3 student destinations in the world. Number 4, join an innovative economic environment. Why? Because out of almost 50 countries in Europe, France is amongst the most dynamic economies. So in terms of career opportunities, you'll always have plenty of them. Number 5, experience rich culture and great diversity. Well, France is known for its gastronomy, food, language, and culture. And at the same time, it's very diverse because when you come to France, you would find people from all across the globe. And at KEDGE as well, you have close to 100 nationalities studying on campus. Number 6, grow in the cradle of human rights. In France, human rights are largely respected, and you have different kinds of rights and support systems, which you probably won't aware of. But when you come to France and when you come to KEDGE, you'd be surprised to see these are the different services, facilities offered to international students when you study in France. Number 7, a welcoming nation to international students. France, as I said, is among the top 3 student destinations in the world. In next few slides, you would also see why it's welcoming to different kinds of international students. Now, after why France, now let's move to why KEDGE. And there are certain reasons which are very simple to comprehend. And obviously, In my personal view, these are some of the best reasons why you should be studying in France and at KEDGE. First of all, largest French business school. When I say largest, I don't mean in terms of area or land. I mean in terms of students that we have, in terms of quality, and in terms of programs that we offer. We are a triple accredited business school, ACSB, AMBA, and EQUIS, the three most prestigious accreditations in the world. KEDGE has all of them. We are ranked amongst top 10 in France, top 35 in Europe, and top 100 worldwide as per all major rankings, whether it's Economic Times, Financial Times, QS. We have the largest alumni network in France. So when you come to KEDGE, you would be studying with a family of students who are present across the globe. Whether you want to work in Russia or Australia or India or China or Brazil, maybe once you complete your graduation, you'd always have KEDGE people working in those countries. 50 million euros have been granted in entrepreneurship to our students. In next few slides, Elvira would talk more about in details related to jobs and entrepreneurship. 4 campuses in France, 8 globally. In a few moments from now, I'm going to show you the pictures of our beautiful campus as well. 16 of our programs, completely taught in English, are funded by Prodigy Finance. This is extremely important because financial challenges can be a barrier to international students. Sometimes you have to go to your bank to get a loan, and to get a loan, there are hundreds and thousands of documents that banks require. But with Prodigy Finance, all you need is KEDGE offer letter. And as soon as you have KEDGE offer letter, you would be able to get up to 100% of funding, including your cost of living, by Prodigy Finance. Close to 300 partner companies work with us very closely. In placement section, we'll be talking about those in details. KEDGE is a center of excellence for n number of things. For example, we have a center of excellence for marketing, food and wine, hospitality, sustainability, supply chain, international business. A lot of people think that when you're studying at a business school, you'd rather be studying MBA only, but not at KEDGE, not in France, because you have management programs in almost every domain. So these are 5 different areas of specialization where you can specialize. And within these areas of excellence, you have n number of programs. Leading player in the sector, 38 management programs. This is a brief snapshot of KEDGE just in numbers. I'm sure you would be amazed by these numbers, but let me just explain a few prominent numbers to you. So 38 management programs, 1 design school, 300 business partners, 15,000 students studying with us at any point in time. A quarter of them are international. 301 university partners. That means you would be able to travel abroad for exchange programs, dual degrees when you enroll at KEDGE. 80,000 alumni, which I already mentioned. Campuses. These are the beautiful campuses that we have. So there you go. We have Bordeaux campus, Marseille, Paris, and Toulon. You don't really have to study at one campus where we tell you to. In fact, you have the liberty to choose your own campus if the program is offered there. For example, our international business program is offered in 3 campuses, Bordeaux, Marseille, and Paris. And you have the liberty to choose your own campus subject to your own areas of specialization. These are the international campuses we have, 2 in Africa and 2 in China. Programs and pedagogy. A quick look at all of the programs that we have. I'm not sure if you can see the screen. Let me zoom it up. These are some of the programs that we have. On the left-hand side, you can see MIM, Masters in Management, which is also equivalent to MBA program in most parts of the globe. For example, in South Asia, a lot of students are interested in MBA, and this is the equivalent program. Then you have International BBA and KEDGE Bachelor. On the middle, you would see MSc programs. These are the most chosen programs in France after MIM. What are these programs? These programs are specializations wherein you can specialize in a certain field. For example, you can do an MSc in arts or banking finance, sustainability, corporate finance, data analytics, digital marketing, entrepreneurship, international business, trade and logistics, supply chain, wine, marketing, sports, and hospitality. So there are different programs pertaining to different career opportunities. If you're somebody who wants to explore wine sector and hospitality, we have a program for you. If you're somebody who wants to work with English Premier League or maybe loves football, we have a sports program for you. If you're interested in investment banking, mergers and acquisitions, we have a program called Banking and Finance for you. If you want to work in logistics companies, supply chain world, where Deepak is working right now, we have a supply chain program for you. So there are different programs subject to different aspirations students may have. Applications, it's a very simple application process. Do not be confused by looking at the 6 documents. Let me explain all of them very simply. First of all, you need to have your CV. I am sure everybody understands your CV. It's a resume, one-page document where you basically have your portfolio. Secondly, you need to have your passport. If you do not have your passport, you can still apply at KEDGE with any other local identification. However, for visa purposes, you would be requiring your passport. Your highest degree and diploma, which is your last undergrad or master's degree that you have, your most recent course transcripts, by which we mean the scanned copies of your mark sheets. Then English proficiency test is very much required. You can take TOEIC, IELTS, IBT, or TOEFL. However, this year we have a new announcement, which is called Duolingo. Duolingo is a very easy test. You can take it from your home, wherever you are, and you get the result in 24 hours. At the same time, if you're coming from a country where medium of instruction in English, we also accept MOI, which is medium of instruction letter. And finally, a school certificate. This document is mandatory for students who are still students and have not graduated. You can still apply with a letter of enrollment from your university. If you have all these 6 documents, you are good to apply. Simply go to KEDGE Business School website, create your application, upload these documents, and you're good to submit. As soon as you submit your application, within 5 days, you'll see your eligibility test result. Within 20 days, you would have your interview. Within 25 days, you'll get your results. And within 30 days, you would be able to complete your registration end to end. So it takes basically 4 weeks to receive everything from KEDGE Business School. Now, after programs, application process, let's move to jobs and entrepreneurship. And now I invite my colleague Elvira to talk more about jobs and entrepreneurship in details. Yes. I'm sure this is going to be the most interesting slide for most of you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Prayag. So just 2 words to explain the concept of Grande École, which is KEDGE. So it's to explain better, it's the same thing as Ivy League in the United States. So most of the French citizens, they try to apply for a Grande École, but because Grande École is a very elite institution with very competitive admission process. So only a few get accepted to Grande École, and that's why the salaries for alumni of Grande École are normally higher than for the alumni of public universities. The good thing is, as our school is aiming to become more and more international, we created the special admission procedure for the international students. So basically, you're paying the same amount of money as the French students, but it's easier for you to be accepted. So life is not fair, but good for you. We have these high rankings in France and all over the world because of the 2 factors. It's our hiring possibilities, so the time after the graduation that students are hired, and also the salaries they get after the graduation. So we aim to help them as best as we could to, of course, to get a job quickly after the graduation. And I can proudly say that the half of our students even get hired before the graduation. So we have a career center that helps them to find an internship, and each of our program includes a mandatory internship. So basically, when you get your diploma, you already have a first important working experience, and it's very often that you are hired within the company where you are doing your internship. And also the career center can help you and guide you to find a job afterwards. It can also pay the external coaching sessions if you feel like you need some to help you to update your CV, to prepare your CV for the French market, to prepare the interview, to handle the stress management. So don't hesitate to opt for these sessions. They're free. I mean, we pay for them, but they're free for you, and we can pay up to 8 sessions. Of course, for the salaries, the average salary after graduation KEDGE is 42K, but please keep in mind that the salaries in Paris are different from the salaries in Marseille and Bordeaux. So it's the average salary, but of course, if you are studying in Paris, you have a higher chance to get a better salary. Of course, for those who would like to opt for entrepreneurship, we have some programs at the incubators on each campus. So even if during the studies or after you graduated or several years after the graduation, if you decide to build your company, or you already have a company, you can reach out to us and we can help you with it. So we have 3 types of incubators. The first one is when you have the idea but nothing is put in place, so we can help you to build everything from the scratch. We explain you how to register your company, how to develop the social media, and so on. The second incubator is the business nursery, where we explain you, when you have something built up, but no money is coming in, so we help you to pass on the next level. And the third one is the business accelerator. So you already have your successful business, but you would like to expand. So we are there for you to help you with that. And also for those who feel like they need some venture capital or they need some financing, please be aware that we have 80,000 of KEDGE alumni, which we called whom we called KEDGE Angels, and you can come and pitch and get a financial help for your startup. The last thing I would like to mention is about the visas. So please, while choosing a school in France, please be attentive to whether your program is labelized by Conférence des Grandes Écoles, because this label will allow you to apply for a special stay-back visa, which will be at least 1 year. So after the graduation, you will be able to stay in France for 1 year to work without asking any work authorization, or even to build your own company without asking any special work authorization. And if you decide to graduate, to go to live in the United States or to come back to your country, please note that you still have the possibility to apply for this visa during 4 years after the graduation.
Right. Thank you so much, Alvira. I think that was very detailed regarding jobs, entrepreneurship, career opportunities, and visa. Moving forward to awards and recognition, this is something which would be very interesting for all of you. On the right-hand side, under red, you can see the 3 most prestigious accreditations: ACSB, EQUIS, and AMBA. Less than 1% of the business schools globally have these 3 accreditations. On the left-hand side, you can see different rankings. So there is Financial Times. As per Financial Times, we are 38th best European business school, 7th best French school, 42nd best EMBA. Well, this is ranking of 2022, because as per 2023, we are not 42nd, we are 18th best executive MBA in the world. As per Shanghai, we are 2nd best French business school in business administration. As per QS, we are 9th best French business school. And then you have other French rankings: Figaro, Challenge, and Le Parisien, and these are the rankings which are mentioned in front of you. Accreditations, as Elvira talked about, Conference de Grande École. This is a CG label, which is for all the programs that we have, allows you to have your stay-back visa for at least 1 year. It varies from country to country. So for example, for people who are watching from India, all of you would have a 1+1, which is a 2-year stay-back visa. And most of the other nationalities would have at least 1 year of stay-back visa to find a job in France. And obviously, once you find a job, you would switch your stay-back visa to the work permit. Regarding the 3 accreditations, you can see on your screen, it's EQUIS, which is European, AMBA, which is Association of MBAs, which is a British accreditation, and ACSB, which is American. So wherever you want to work, once you graduate, your degree is going to be recognized across the globe. Alums, this is the penultimate slide. Some of our students, they graduate and they do not only limit themselves to jobs in France, they are able to find jobs across the globe. As Elvira mentioned, we help you prepare for jobs and career opportunities on campus. We invite companies to recruit students from campus as well. And this is one example wherein this Indian student went to KEDGE and he studied in France and Marseille, and now he works with Louis Vuitton in United Kingdom. So these are the kind of career opportunities you have. We have tons of alumni, as Elvira mentioned, we have 80,000 alumni across the globe. There are so many success stories that we can't really put all of them on one screen, but this is just one example that I wanted to share with all of you. That brings us to the end of the presentation. I think, and I hope all of your queries were answered. If not, of course, we would be answering your questions in the Q&A section. Now, I think, Maria, if that's okay with you, we can move to Deepak, and Deepak can probably talk about his experience.
Yes, sure.
All right, over to you, Deepak. If you could share your experience, your journey at KEDGE, and enlighten us.
So, hello everyone. First of all, thank you so much for having me. It's really it's an honor and pleasure to be here and to talk about my experiences in KEDGE. So, I come from Lucknow, so small, like not small city in India. I did my engineering in 2014, and after that I started working. I worked for Dell for almost 7 years as an account manager, and after I decided to move into supply chain because I was working basically at the front office, and I wanted to look in the detail, like how things are moving to support us in different how supply chain and how companies are functioning in order to support the customers and deliver products. So that's how I got my interest in supply chain, and I decided to do my master in supply chain. So in 2019, I applied for KEDGE and I got selected. Then I had to move in 2020, but because of COVID, I had to delay my arrival in France. So I postponed for next year. So I joined KEDGE in 2021, and it was roughly 8 months teaching plan that we had. We had, it's quite a diverse environment in KEDGE. I think in my class, we had almost 11 nationalities, and it was pretty nice. And then we had some study trips. We had our integration seminars, which was quite interesting and actually helpful in order to, get to know each other, mix up with other nationalities, get to know them. That was the school time, the classroom time was pretty amazing. And then I got my internship in Schneider Electric, and I completed my internship in November, and then I was offered CDI in Schneider, the same company. So I continued, and so I'm still working there. So my office is currently in Libourne, which is not very far from Bordeaux. It's like 30 kilometers from there, so 25 minutes. So I'm very close to Bordeaux, actually, where it all started. So that was like an overall, I would say, my journey.
Right. Thank you so much, Deepak. Okay, perfect. So I think we can move to the questions, Maria.
Yes, we can move to the questions. We have some questions from our attendees. First one, can you share info about schools, clubs, activities, or initiatives, particularly for women, to help with their professional development? Do you have some in KEDGE?
Absolutely. I would just, give a brief of it, and then Elvira is based on campus, so she would be the right person to talk about it. Regarding clubs and activities, KEDGE is one of the most, I would say, active schools in terms of clubs. We have around 50 clubs dedicated to international students, particularly ranging from consulting to marketing to different kinds of sports activities, cultural activities. So these are the clubs that participate in extracurricular activities, and all international students are encouraged to participate and engage with all of these different clubs. You enroll with these clubs at the very beginning of your academic journey. So when you join school during the orientation weeks, you would have opportunity to interact and participate in different club activities. For example, regarding activities, what the question asked, I'll give an example. There is a club that takes you to Alps during winters, and you can go for a skiing with international students. You can celebrate Christmas in Strasbourg with international students. And then after the new year, you come back to the campus and you continue with your classes. So this is one example of various kind of activities that we have on campus. Now probably Elvira can touch base more on that.
Yes, and of course it depends on the campus because each campus has its own associations. But as the Paris campus is the most recent one, it's evolving. So if you also have some suggestion, you can be a part of something new. And for example, this week we had a special webinar about women empowerment. So we basically organize on regular basis sessions and conference to help women to be more empowered and to find their place in their in the professional field.
Thank you so much. I'm moving to the next question, but before that, I would like to invite again everyone who has joined a little later and haven't heard me, that you can type your questions in the Q&A box and we'll answer them. So the next one is, what is the admission rate for the master's programs? How many people get admitted? So you said there are quite many, but do you have official data?
Yeah, so just to begin, as you saw in the presentation, we have 15,000 students enrolled with us at any given time. So we have 4 different campuses, of course, 2 campuses in Africa, 2 in China. So altogether 15,000 students. A quarter of them are international students. So around 23% students that we have are international students coming from 100 plus nationalities. In terms of admission rate for master's programs, I would say it varies subject to the program. For example, if you talk about masters in management, which is also known as Grande École, that's the flagship program of French Business School, and that's very, very, I would say, selective. So the master's rate, admission rate for that program could be around 10 to 15%. Then you would have programs which are more common and more liked by international students. For example, international business. International business is one of the primary choices for international students, and that program would certainly have a higher acceptance rate because it's slightly generic and less selective. So it varies across programs, but largely it's between 10 to 25%. So if you're applying from any country, just keep in mind that if you have proper motivation, strong reasoning to study abroad and study at KEDGE, decent academics, then you should be able to get an interview call from KEDGE. And of course, it then depends on your interview. If you crack your interview well, you would be admitted. So you don't really need to worry about how many people get admitted or not, because you just have to apply for one seat and there is always that chance available.
Thank you so much. And you almost answered the next question, but I'll read it out loud. Which is the most difficult program to get in? I assume that's the Master in Management. And which is the easiest?
Well, to be honest, and I think Elvira and Deepak both would agree with me that there is no easy program.
No, but like there are some programs I would say that they can benefit from the position on the market, because currently on the market we lack of some specialists. So I think there are some programs that where it's easier to get in. For me, it's the purchasing program, because I know that a lot in April a lot of companies, they come to Bordeaux and they look through our students to pick them up. So they're basically fighting for our students. So I know that the admission there, it's an excellent program, but the admission there is not the same as for Master in Management. I would say that.
All right. And can I get more information about sponsorship? I'm in South Africa. You have some...
I am not sure if we understood that question well. Probably the viewer can talk more about what kind of sponsorships Are they looking for financial sponsorships by banks or companies, or what is more about it? So if you could give more information, then probably would be able to talk more about it.
Yeah, maybe you could explain about the scholarships that we have.
Yeah, for sure. So in terms of
General.
scholarships, yeah, in terms of scholarships, we have multiple opportunities. We have one scholarship which is called Early Bird every year. If you apply before November 30, right now it's November 16. So basically, if you apply next 2 weeks, you get 10% off on your tuition. The same scholarship continues till February end, and it remains to 5%. So if you're applying by February 29, you would still be able to get 5% early bird. In terms of excellence and merit scholarships, again, we have up to 4,000 euros, depending on your profile, depending on your essays and your interview performance. You may get another 5 to 10% scholarship. On top of it, you have Campus France scholarships, which are given by Government of France across the globe. And their Campus France offices are, I think, in more than 100 countries. So you can just apply for Government of France scholarships as well, which cover your housing, your social security, and sometimes your visa waiver fees as well. So these are different scholarships that we offer.
Thank you so much. One question for Deepak. Can you share your experience with the admission process? How long it took to prepare all documents? Something important we should know? Basically, tips and tricks for the
Sure.
future generations.
Sure, no problem. I'll be happy to do that. As Prayag already showed in this slide, it's exactly like that. There is the KEDGE website, I think is join.kedge.bs. And
yes.
Yes, join. So on that website, you have to register. There would be application form with all the documents that required. The list of documents were already shown in this slide. And I think we can maybe share that slide again, the list of documents required. So I'm just sharing my experience. So I applied. In that, you have to have your motivation letter, which is also called, yeah, it's like motivation letter. Like, why do you want to join KEDGE? Why do you want to go to France? These kind of things. And there are basically 4 or 5 questions that you have to answer. And after that, if you're working, because I was working, so I gave my letter of recommendation from my employer. And that's it. These are the supporting documents which you will be required to give: your passport, your previous diploma. I had to give my engineering degree that I had done, and your CV, of course. That's all. School certificate I did not give because I was already working. So I gave rather my employment certificate that I was working for Dell. I gave that. So this was all. And after, when I submitted the application, after I think after 2 weeks, I got an email from KEDGE to schedule my interview with the program director. And then I had my interview with the director, and next day I had my result and I was selected. And within a week, I got an email with the links and my KEDGE email ID and login ID and password for Campus Virtual. And then you have to do the registration. So you have to pay, I think at my time, it was 3,000 euros that I had to pay for the registration process to confirm my seat. And once we do that, we also receive the visa letter from KEDGE that is required when you apply for the visa. That was also required for my visa. And I mean, I'm telling the whole visa process because the admission was done, registration was done after we go to the visa, after we have to do Campus France. In Campus France, there are certain queries by Campus France which we have to answer, and then they also cross-check all the documents that you provide. From there, you will get the NOC, which is No Objection Certificate, and after that, you can apply for a visa. And for visa, you would require a cover letter, and you would require your motivation letter, financial proof, accommodation, flight tickets, and the insurance, the travel insurance, health insurance.
How long was the process from the day that you applied until the day you received the answer if you're admitted or not? That you're admitted, obviously.
I mean, step by step, I would say I started in, I got my admission in November. So in December, I had my registration done. And after I started my campus funds, because I took a gap. I did it next year, because of COVID. So next year I started again in May I started. And in August I had my visa. So in 3 months.
All right. Thank you. I'm moving to the next question. I have completed my bachelor and master's in English medium, and I don't know what is this, and I would like to know, do I still need to do IELTS or any other exam in English?
No. So as I mentioned during the presentation as well, if you come from a country where English is the native language, or you have studied thoroughly in English medium, we require a medium of instruction letter from your college. So from your undergraduate college, we need one letter that says you studied in English medium, and that should be okay. However, your English would still be tested during your interview. And if your English is not up to the mark, then you might be recommended for an exam or something. So we have multiple options. You can take IELTS, you can take TOEFL, you can take Duolingo, or you can also take medium of instructions from your school.
I would like to also add something, because I studied from English medium school, and I was working for Dell United States, which was again English. So I did not have to take IELTS, and it was fine, because my program director, I had an interview with her, and she was fine with it. So I did not have to take IELTS.
Okay.
And I would like to add one element. So if you would like to apply before the end of November, but you still don't have your English certificate, please don't be afraid to apply with the proof that you took the appointment to pass the exam. So you can benefit from our early bird scholarship.
Yeah, thank you. I have an education gap of 4 years, and I'm planning to do masters in project management. So is it possible for me?
Yes, it's possible, as long as you are able to explain why you had the gap of 4 years. You need to write a cover letter, and you need to put in all the details, what you were doing in those 4 years. Were you traveling? Were you taking care of your family? Were you engaged in your family business? Or you were just out of study? So whatever your reason was, you need to explain that in a cover letter, upload that in the application process. And at the same time, during your interview, the interviewer may ask what you were doing for those 4 years. And you need to mention the same things that you've mentioned in your cover letter. This cover letter would also be very helpful in terms of visa process, because embassies across the globe would also be very vigilant in knowing what you did during those 4 years. So be truthful and mention everything that you have done in those 4 years, and you are eligible to apply at KEDGE.
Yeah. And to reassure you, we have like half of our students, they don't have any gap years, so they continue their study after receiving the bachelor degree, and the other half are just already have work experience and then decide to acquire another master's, and it's quite normal, so don't worry.
Okay, one more question for Deepak. Can Deepak talk about his learning experience? What did you like or dislike about the classes and the school?
Well, it was really great. I wouldn't say there was anything that I didn't like. It was an amazing experience. And the thing I didn't like is it was like just 8 months. I wish it was more. I would have loved to be, for 8 more months in school. It was an amazing experience. That was something I don't like. It was very short, but rather it's amazing. You will meet wonderful people, amazing professors. They're very helpful. The faculty is amazing at KEDGE. You can reach out to any professor anytime, and they're very helpful. You will learn a lot, because you will interact with, and you will learn not only just the subjective, like the technical or things. You will also learn about different cultures and mindset, how people work in different nationalities. And like I mentioned before, we had 11 nationalities in my class. So it's quite different that on one topic, how all of us can have a different view. So which is quite interesting. The course is very, I would say it's very elaborate, and you will be using that a lot, because, and I can give my experience, because now when I'm working for Schneider, the things that I have been using, the terminologies, the abbreviations that I've been using every day, that I learned in KEDGE, so which is very helpful. So it's very nice. Everybody is very helpful. It's really amazing. It's wonderful. One of the main reasons that I deferred my admission in 2020, because I wanted to do on-campus experience, and I'm glad that I did that. It's a wonderful experience.
Thank you. And which course do you suggest for a BTech electronic background student who has 4 years gap in education?
Well, we do not recommend courses on thoroughly the basis of your undergrad. We recommend courses on the basis of your aspirations. And this is how you should be choosing your program. Let's say if I suggest you wine and hospitality today, would you be interested in studying wine and hospitality? Unless you are interested in making a career in wine and hospitality. So regardless of the background, because at KEDGE, we welcome diversity. We have students who have economics background, we have students who have engineering background, we have students who have fashion background, and all of them can be seen studying different programs. So it doesn't really matter if you have engineering and electronics. If you have it, it's good. You might have some technical knowledge, but largely it depends on your aspirations, what kind of jobs you'd be interested in, what kind of career do you want to have. On the basis of that, you should be choosing the right program at KEDGE. And this is precisely why at KEDGE we have 20 plus programs to choose from. If you need any help in choosing, of course, you can reach out to Elvira or myself. We'd be very happy to schedule a consultation for you.
All right. Do you have PhD progress?
Yes,
PhD programs.
We do have PhD programs. You can find more information on kedge.phd.edu webpage, or you can simply just Google KEDGE PhD programs. Every year, there are multiple positions that you can apply for. We do not manage PhD directly because it's a different department altogether. However, as I said, if you reach out to us after this webinar, we'd be very happy to connect you with a PhD department.
Yeah, everyone will receive a follow-up email also with contact, so you can apply, you can answer and ask your questions also after the webinar and connect with us if you have some more special things you want to ask. Is GMAT or GRE not required for admission?
So GMAT or GRE, as mentioned in the application process, was required until last year. After COVID, we removed that as a requirement. That said, GMAT or GRE is recommended. If you have it, it's good. It's going to help you in your admission and application and scholarships, but it's not mandatory to apply at KEDGE for any of the programs. Instead, what is more important is your statement of purpose, answering those questions properly. And as long as you do that, you are eligible to apply.
Is a medium of instruction certificate an acceptable substitute for TOEFL?
Yeah, as we just mentioned, yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm just mentioning some the rest of the questions, but we already answered them actually. Scholarships from companies which cover 100% and financial.
Scholarships, we already explained. Company sponsorships, as long as your company is willing to pay your tuition fee and offer you a sabbatical, we don't have any problem with that. But for that, you need to contact your company where you're working at the moment. For example, Deepak was working with Dell. If Dell wanted to sponsor his education, school would not have any problem. But similarly, you need to talk to your company if they are willing to sponsor your 100% of the tuition fees.
All right. Another question about PhD and the fees for PhD in management. Yeah, as Prayag said, you can just Google this and check. And the last question we have up to now, I have took care of my family food business and now I got married and having a child now. Now I would like to continue my studies. So can I say that I took care of my family these 4 years? Can I get admission with that reason?
Of course. So this year I even have a student who came with her husband. So husband is not working, but we got the visa for both of them from Iran.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. And me personally, I have one more question for Deepak, I think. How useful was your study at KEDGE in terms of networking? Can you tell us more about the networking? Because maybe many people want to do masters just because of that reason. That might be interested for our
Well,
listeners.
sure. As we mentioned many times before as well, that KEDGE has a huge alumni network, which is certainly quite helpful. I would just give you a very small example of my company in my factory where I am currently working. So in my same team, we are two from my same class. There is another Colombian guy. He was my classmate. He's working there. One of my seniors, she was 2 years before in KEDGE in supply chain. I'm working under her. There was another student in my class, but he was in alternance. He is working in my factory. One alternance this year has been hired from KEDGE in supply chain. So we have a huge network in working companies. So of course, for example, if somebody reaches out to us for an internship or a job, and if we have a position open, and if they are from KEDGE, for sure we would take that into consideration. And because and you can check it on LinkedIn, we have a huge alumni network. Also, like KEDGE network plus program specific network. For example, we have Sleep Hour for supply chain students across the globe from KEDGE, and they are very helpful. I particularly have been benefited a lot from my networks, and it definitely makes things easier. So it's a very, I would say, resourceful thing that KEDGE provides this kind of alumni network. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much. So I don't see any more questions, and I would like to thank you, Elvira, Prayag, and Deepak, for all the information you shared with us, for answering all of these questions. It was a pleasure for me. And thank you everybody for your time and for your attendance. After this, in the next days, you will receive an email with the recording of the webinar, and you can contact us every time if you have more questions. And I wish you a nice day.